Hey everybody, back with another project here. I guess you'd call this a homemade bedder or hiller, and I just want a easier way to harvest potatoes, and one way to do that is, hilling them up to where you're not digging down in the ground. So repurposing and reusing a lot of stuff on this project. Got quite a bit of it done already, just a little here and a little there. It's one of the reasons why I haven't really turned the camera on till now, but I'll give you a look at what's going on. So if you remember, or you go back and you look at my videos, I made a homemade corn planter several years ago, and this is the 3-point part of that. Well, I made the planter so that it bolts on, so that I can offset it to get a different row pattern. And because it was bolted on, I decided to go ahead and utilize this frame to maybe make a few other things off of it. So what I've got here is a T out of 2x2, and I made some plates, just like on the corn planter. It slides up, you drop your bolts or your pins in, and then what I've done is another project also. If you remember me doing I made the homemade counterweight / carry-all for my son. So I used a bunch of parts off of an old cultivator or harrow for that, and these are some of the parts that I saved, and these are the pieces that used to hold the tines. So what I did was I took a couple of those and I cut them down, and then I welded some tubing on it. So these are going to go on here, and you'll be able to slide them in and out and adjust for width. These wheel spindles were off of the front wheels on my homemade backhoe that I decided to do away with. So I decided to repurpose those and welded some shanks on them that will fit inside the tubing. That's going to allow me to get the angle that I want, and the up and down is pretty much just going to be controlled off the 3-point, so I'm not too worried about that. And then I guess the part that I'm moving on to next is more stuff left over from another project. Is those discs that I built into a 3-point set of discs for my son this spring. These are some of the old discs that were still in pretty good shape, that came off of the old originals. So I'm going to clean those up, and I'm going to put the bolt pattern, put the hub and the bolt pattern in these discs that match those trailer wheel spindles, and the discs are going to bolt on there. And that should, I think it's going to work pretty slick. That way they're going to spin real nice on those bearings, and I can angle the disc any way I want to throw more or less dirt. I can adjust the width, and I think it's just going to be perfect. I may find out that I end up using this for more than just potatoes. And then probably before potato harvesting time next year, you will maybe even see some sort of a homemade potato digger that I believe I'm also going to make, that works off of this same frame. I mean, this is stuff that you only use once or twice a year, and then it just sits. So why not make as many different little attachments that fit on the 3-point as possible? Because I mean, honestly, that's the part that takes the most time, most material. Everything about building that part is just time consuming. So and usually everything's welded on that I make, but because this was bolted on, I'm going to take advantage of this going forward and see if I can have 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 different things that utilize what I originally came up with for my homemade corn planter. So anyways, like I said, I mean, this is kind of tedious. It's just a rainy day today, so I'm tinkering around in the garage, and I'll probably just be bringing you updates rather than keeping the camera run while I try to do this. But one way or the other, I'll bring you another update as I get these discs done, get them all drilled out, and get things cleaned up, painted, and put together. And I'll show you what it's going to look like, and hopefully it's going to work really good. So, all right, I'll catch you the next time I turn the camera on. Alright guys, so I'm back with another little update here. Got the discs all drilled out, and let me tell you what a pain in the ass that was. As you might imagine, it's pretty darn good steel they're made out of. But anyways, what I did was I made a pattern off of a tractor rim that had the same pattern as I was going to need here. It's a 5 on 4.5, and that's what these hubs are. So anyways, I traced this onto the center hole was the same size as the square hole through the disc, so that got me centered. And then I marked the holes and I drilled them, but because this thing is curved, my holes didn't quite get where I wanted them to be, so I ended up having to oversize these a couple sizes for them to fit down over, but it works fine. And honestly, the hardest part was putting the 2 1/4 inch center hole in. Wow, I had to clamp this down to a bench and find a way to use a hole saw and keep everything centered, and it was a struggle. So I'm glad that the hole saw, at least the size that I was using, was a brand new one, because going slow with oil, I mean, it was tough chewing. But anyways, it's coming right along. So I'm gonna get the rust all cleaned off of these discs and give them a paint job. That T-frame, gonna get that cleaned up and give it a paint job. And then I think while that paint's drying, I think I'm gonna go ahead and pack the bearings on the spindles or on the wheel, on the hubs, and get everything assembled so that they can be painted as well. So all right, I'll keep you posted how this project's coming along. Hey guys, I'm back with another little update here on this Hiller or Better that I decided to make, and got a lot of the painting done and a bunch of the assembly done. Just thought I'd give you a little look at that. I ended up using some flat washers and some lock washers in here because what was happening was trying to bolt this disc onto a flat surface. I was trying to squeeze it down, and I didn't like the tension it was on. I didn't want them to crack if I started hitting anything hard with them. Plus, the flatter it is, you take away some of the usefulness of the concave, the way that it wants to throw dirt and stuff. So so just wanted to give you a little look at how things were going. Decided to take the 3-point frame and give it a fresh coat of paint You can probably see it rained overnight, which it wasn't supposed to, or I would have never left this stuff out here on my outside workbench to thank goodness the paint was dry from yesterday before it got rained on. But I'm going to continue with some of the assembly, and then I'm going to get this hooked on the back of the tractor and start seeing how it looks. But got a few more ideas on stuff that I might do with this. But you know, the real thing for me is just repurposing everything. Like I said, I mean, just to go over this again real quick. So this original 3-point frame I built for a homemade pig pole a very long time ago. I sacrificed that and added this onto it when I built my homemade corn planter. I think I covered this before, but unlike so many of my homemade pieces of equipment that everything's welded, I decided to bolt this on just simply so that I could offset the corn planter in two different positions. Well, it turns out I'm liking that idea because there's a lot of time and effort built, you know, to build this part of any of the 3-point equipment, and so I'm going to keep reusing this. And this is just one of several different things I can think of going forward in the future that I'm going to use this 3-point frame to connect things with. So basically, to continue making anything, I mean, in this case, I had to make a T-frame just because, you know, these are going to hook on the T-frame and give you the ability to slide them in and out and adjust them and whatnot. But basically, all you're going to need is, you know, something that looks like this on anything going forward, and you can drop it in those holes and you're going to be ready to go. So but yeah, all of this is just kind of mix and match. Like I said, the discs were well, there's a couple more leaning right there. There was 4 decent discs off of the discs that I built for my son that I saved, and so they got repurposed. These wheel spindles and hubs, those were the front wheels on my backhoe, which I did away with the front wheels on the backhoe. This round stock was actually part of another axle off an old go-kart. These clamps were part of the clamps that held the harrow tines on a cultivator. And yeah, just everywhere you look, I'm trying to reuse as much as I possibly can. So, all right, guys. It's been pretty chilly, and obviously it's been raining off and on. So, but I'm gonna keep plugging away at this and see if I can't get it finished up here pretty soon, and give you a little look at the finished product and how I expect it to work. So, all right. I'll see you after. I'll turn the camera back on. Okay, well, we'll be back at it with another update soon. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna, I think, probably bring this project to a close as far as the video is concerned. There's only one other thing I wanted to do, and I'll talk a little bit about that. So yeah, here it is all put together. Like I talked about, this is the A-frame, or the 3-point frame from my corn planter, and everything else I talked about in the last video there. But yeah, so anyways, the way I made this, I mean, these can swivel 360 degrees. You have infinite adjustment in and out, and I just think it's going to be, I think it's going to work out really good for preparing potato beds and things like that, and I'm sure I'll find some other uses for it the more I use it. So the only other thing I'm going to do is that I think I'm going to make a disc that goes on here, and I'll probably even weld it on. I can't ever see a reason that I would want to lengthen these. So I made them long because I just wasn't sure in the beginning. But anyways, this disc I'm going to put on here is going to have holes in it, and I'm going to drill a hole down through this clamp so that you can drop a small pin in there, and it's basically going to be a way to lock it in. So yeah, I probably will add that onto this video, just so it makes a little more sense. But yeah, so I think it turned out pretty good, and now that I have this T-frame structure, I've been thinking for a while now about making an actual potato digger or picker, and who knows, maybe I can come up with something that'll use this same frame here. So yeah, I think it's going to do good. I mean, it's never going to wear those bearings out, that's for sure. So the real test will be in the spring when I till up the gardens and start making hilled beds. So all right, so yeah, I'm going to do that little disc project I was talking about, and I'll show you how that's going to work as far as being able to set the angles real quick with dropping a pin in. And so I guess I'll turn the camera back on when I'm done with that part of it. Alright, in with my last installment on the hiller / bedder and that I've been working on, and I did decide to go ahead and finish this video up by letting you see what I did here. So anyways, I put these discs on here, welded them on the shanks. These shanks can now be cut off because the extra length isn't going to do any good. But what I did was I drilled and tapped this piece, and you can put a bolt down through there, like you can see I have on both of these. And then I center punched a hole on each one of these when the discs were perfectly flat. I put a straight edge across both of them and set them so that you can just count from the center punch hole on either one of these discs, whichever direction you want, to keep track, and you can drop your bolt, your alignment bolt down through, and then tighten it up on the shank here, and yeah, so you can match the angles perfectly on either side. So I don't know, that may be a little overkill, but it was just something that I wanted to do. So yeah, like I say, I don't really have a reason to use these this time of year, so I'll probably try to throw a little video up next spring when I'm putting the gardens in, and try to highlight my homemade corn planter again. Go check out those videos on that. Boy, it was it was made with a lot of repurposed items as well. But yeah, so this 3-point frame runs the corn planter and now this, and I'll definitely be using both of those in the spring. So I'll bring you a little working video of both of those next year, and fingers crossed that this works as well as I think it's going to. Plus, I'm thinking that there may be other applications for this that undiscovered applications that I haven't even thought of yet. So yeah. All right. I'll see you right back here when I got another project in the works. And hey, like, share, and subscribe if you would. Means a lot to me. And let me know on these builds if you'd actually like to see more of the hands-on instead of just updates as I go. It's tough to try and keep these videos under 20 minutes or so if I don't run a lot of high speed during the build. So I'll leave it up to you. I've done some of these projects both ways, and the response seems to be about the same no matter what I do. So again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you back here when I got another project underway.